Got a 2025 Kawasaki Ninja 500? That stalker fender is so ugly, it's basically a plastic shovel for digging your way out of motorcycle shame. Let me show you how to fix that with a sleek Fender Eliminator. First things first, remove the passenger seat. Think of it as evicting a tenant who's been hogging the good workspace. With the seat off, unplug the wiring harness connectors for the turn signal and plate light. Fun fact, these connectors live in the most awkward spot imaginable, so prepare your fingers for a wrestling match. But hey, no pain, no gain, right? Once unplugged, remove the bolts holding the stock fender and slide it off. Watch out, under the tail there's a rubber grommet clutching the wires for dear life. Don't just yank and hope for the best. Ease it out first, like you're defusing a tiny rubber bomb. Next, remove the turn signals and plate light from the stock fender. Since you're reusing the factory wiring and connectors, this part's pretty clean. Just make sure to keep track of the hardware so nothing goes on an unexpected vacation. The screws for the turn signals are jammed in there so tight, I found the best option was a Phillips head and a tiny socket wrench to get them started. Before you try yanking the turn signals out like a caveman, don't forget there's a metal insert inside the rubber housing. Pop that out first or you're going to have a bad time. Time to unscrew the license plate light. Just 2 screws stand between you and sweet fenderless freedom. Now it's time to bolt those rescued lights onto the new Fender Eliminator. But first, those lovely factory rubber mounts. Yeah, they don't just slide in. You've got to wrestle them into the bracket cutouts like you're trying to put a square peg into a slightly smaller square hole. Take your time, work them in gently, and try not to invent any new swear words. Once they're seated, attach the lights using the original hardware. Almost there. Tightening down the first light is easy because you can use the opening for the other turn signal, but you might have to break out the little socket wrench for the second one because it's still pretty tight. Don't forget the rubber grommets for the license plate lamp. They're a pain to get out, but the screws won't work without them. Time to feed those wires back up into the tail. Ideally, the bracket's pass-through hole should line up perfectly with the factory wiring harness, but I ended up buying the 2024 model kit. Close, but not quite plug and play for the 2025. So I busted out the Dremel and file to widen the opening a bit. Once the wires slide through nice and easy, bolt the bracket onto the subframe, tighten it snug, not gorilla tight, and admire how much cleaner the rear end looks already. Plug those connectors back in, you know, the ones hiding in the worst possible spot. Then fire up the bike and test all your lights. If everything's working, congrats, you've officially upgraded your Ninja from blah to badass. If not, well, then it's time to practice your I swear I plugged it in face.